Hey everybody, welcome back again. It's Don, of course. I'm out here in the garage, of course. And the Jeep CJ-5 project here is hitting a pretty big milestone. The tub is in transit to Salt Lake as we speak. And in the morning, I should know exactly when it's going to get here. The trucking company said it would be no earlier than Monday. So I have all weekend to get the kind of mission critical stuff that I want to get done before the tub gets here, because I really don't want to have too much time where I got to deal with that thing standing up on its end. I want to be able to get it in here and get it up on the frame pretty quickly for two reasons. Okay, reason number one is I got a limited amount of space to work with here, and so part of this whole project is what I call space management. I'm managing the space I got and trying to keep the car in out of the weather and work around the Jeep here. But number two, and probably just as much as number one, is for the psychological benefit of having this thing look like a Jeep again. That's going to mean a lot to me. I don't know how you guys are going to feel about it. Hopefully you're sticking with me through this whole project and you're looking forward to seeing us get that thing sitting up on the frame here. But I am really looking forward to that. So I do have some stuff that I got to get done this weekend. I'm going to do those. I'll show you what I do, and I'll talk about the plan that I have for getting that tub into the garage, because it'll be a liftgate delivery out of the street out there. So let's get on with it, and I'll bring you along and show you my plan. Well, as it turns out, I think I just needed to take a break, go do something else for a while, come back and kind of take a fresh look at this. So I had knocked the top ball joint loose and in fact had backed out that threaded insert, so that top one was just moving around in there. So really the only thing holding it was the bottom one, and I've got an old beat up 1/2-inch drive socket extender that I've kind of always used as a pounding tool. So I was able to kind of get the socket end, or the drive, the part that's the bigger round where the 1/2-inch drive goes into it, kind of jammed onto the top of the nut of the bottom ball joint. And once I pushed the Jeep over away from the wall, I could get in there and get a little better swing at it. So I got that off. So here we have now both knuckles off the Jeep. So driver's side, passenger side, you can see obviously the driver's side only has the one hole here for the tie rod link between the other side, and then the other side's got the one that goes to the steering box. So I don't think I hit any of my studs there on this one, and so that worked out okay. And actually, you know what, I think this spot right here on these things, I mean, it almost seems like that's made to be the hammering point. So maybe what I was doing was, you know, proper removal techniques for this silly thing. So I'm gonna take one more pass. It's nighttime, it's evening. I can't really get any tools or anything done today. So I'm gonna take one stab at seeing if I can maybe get the ball joints out of that driver's side one, just to build my confidence up that it is perhaps possible. So let's take a stab at that and see what happens, and then that will determine how I go forward if I really do have to go find a machine shop or something to press these out of here. So let's see what happens. Okay, well, so we got the passenger side knuckle, we got the driver's side knuckle. So just a thought I'd show you some of the differences. This one looks like it had a grease cert on the top that is broken off, and it definitely had a grease cert on the bottom. So this is the driver's side. This is the driver's side bottom U-joint. So I don't think that's supposed to be like that. However, I don't think it's supposed to be like that one either. That thing will not move. And this one up here is just seized up tighter than a drum. I can pound on that a little bit. But I've been I guess I've been pounding on this one, trying to see if I can get a little bit of a movement there. I don't think I'm getting any, but definitely I can see that's not, I think, supposed to be like that. But the weird thing is greasable, potentially greasable. I have taken a screwdriver and scratched the bottom of these off, and you can see there is no hole there for a grease cert. So I suppose I can go through my new ones. So this is a new one. I can see a hole in there for a grease cert. This one looks like it has a spot as well. So it looks like the new ones are all greasable, and these old ones aren't. So yeah, I'm not making any progress. Now maybe if I had a 20-pound sledgehammer and some place to really get these clamped up tight, where I could put them down on the ground and just beat on them with a big old hammer, I could maybe get them out of there, but I don't think it's working. So I will go back to getting on dialing for presses and see if I can find someone to press those out of there. So that's where I'm going to leave it for tonight. Not obviously going to get any of that done tonight. But it's only a Friday night. Oh, by the way, that box that has been floating around at FedEx for 3 weeks is finally here. So I got that, and I got a couple of other things. So really, I can turn my attention back to rear brakes, get those all done, get those gas lines put together, and kind of leave these to the end if I've got to maybe take these around next week and try to find somebody who can press those out of there for me. So there we are. That's about it. I just don't think I have the tools, the leverage, the way to hold these tight enough. I keep trying to put them in the vise, and as soon as I really start wrenching on it, the vise is turning, and the bench is just a cabinet here with the vise on the top. So it's not really designed to be putting, every pound of your torque that you can generate with your entire body into the process of trying to turn this thing. But I get that ball joint press tool kind of started, and then it just gets so hard to move that I just can't move it, so that's not the right tool for this job. Maybe it's the right tool for putting them back in. I hope it is, but it's not getting these rusty old things out of here. So thwarted but not defeated, let's call it that. Well, I mentioned that the box finally got here, that FedEx has been shooting around the valley for 3 weeks now. So I know you must be thinking, man, what exciting thing is inside of that box, Don, that you waited so long for? Well, this is it. Actually, this too, but that is it. So all we've got here is my little 1/4-inch brackets for mounting my brake and fuel lines, and then this one is kind of an assortment of different sizes. It's for the places where I might hook 2 lines, in the same bracket and so forth. So I ran to Home Depot. I got me some little 1/4-inch bolts and nuts and so forth. I'll start to mount up those hard lines. So I'll be drilling and tapping a few holes as I go where I can't find a hole, or I might be tapping some existing holes to get a 1/4 inch bolt in there. So I got those, and I did get also this box from Quadratech. Thanks, Quadratech. You're doing a good job of keeping me supplied. So I can just start dumping that over. These are my emergency brake or parking brake cables that I need to finish up the back brakes. So I think I have everything now to get my back brakes finished up. So I can do that, and I can get my hard lines finished up. I think I mentioned I have one of my U-joints for my axle shafts, which I'm pointing at over there. You can't see them, but I can see them. They're right over there. And I'll get some fuel lines, get those fuel lines buttoned up. That's this weekend's plan. And then, like I said, Monday morning, the tub should be getting here, and we'll see how that goes. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get all the car and the truck out of the driveway in the morning, on Monday morning, and then I'm gonna see if I can cajole the truck driver. If he's in a bobtail truck or, not a semi, I'm gonna see if I can get him to back it up in the driveway and dump the tub up here close to the top of the driveway. If he won't do that, and I gotta bring it all the way up from the street, what I'm planning is, I got my 2 little moving platforms that I have my rest of my tires stacked on right now, so I can roll those in and out of the way. I'll take those off there and just put those under the pallet that the tub is on, and then hopefully roll it up the driveway that way. So we'll see how it goes, but let's dive into it for today and see if we can get some of these hard lines buttoned up and fuel lines in place, and then get back on these back brakes. Hey, wait, did I just do a Fonzie imitation? Hey! Welcome back. So you can see I've done a little bit of sanding here on my knuckles in preparation for slapping a coat of paint on there. Now those things are 1 inch of solid steel, so I'm not really worried about them. Just this is aesthetic work we're doing. But I don't know if you can read it or not, but we did find some numbers stamped on there. 88, and then under that it says F35560. And there's similar numbers over on the other side, just like that. So anyway, not sure what that means, but maybe that will mean something significant. I did get my brake hard lines bracketed in place all the way around. Front's done, back is done. It's a little wonky right back there where it goes through that one rear cross member. Almost seems like this was a CJ-7 line and not a CJ-5, because it seems a little long, but I guess it'll work. And yeah, so the only line I'm missing that I don't have hooked on there is that fuel feed line. And I just don't have it. So I'm gonna get me some flexible tubing, like I said, to do the return line into the gas tank, and get the input line, or the main feed line, at least plumbed so I'm off the tank. And then I will tear back into these brakes, I think. That's about what I can do right now. So there you have it. I just wanted to show you a little progress so far. So I'm gonna do a little painting, of course, and always gotta do a little painting. And then I'm to the point where those knuckles gotta go get those ball joints out of them before anything else can really happen on this front end. But we'll be ready when we're ready for that to happen. So, hey, remember when I hung the cross member on the frame here, and I said that I thought the front bolt on the driver's side was hanging in there by maybe a thread or two, and I was worried that it was going to be stripped? Well, I was sweeping up, and here's that bolt. It literally fell out. It just fell out and was laying on the ground. So obviously it was worse than I thought it was. I don't know, maybe doing something around somewhere I was vibrating the frame and made it fall out, but I don't really think so. But anyway, it just fell right out of there. So yes, indeed, that hole was stripped. So I think these are like, I don't know, 3/8 inch bolts or something like that. So I will have to go up under there, drill that dude out the next size bigger, tap it to threads of a bigger size bolt, and put a new bolt in there. So just in case you were wondering if I was going to circle back around and fix that, yes indeed I am, because the thing just fell right out on the ground. I never expected that. I didn't think it was that loose, but there you go. All right, well, you're going to have to deal with the mouth breather over here. She's decided she has to come out in the garage with me. But I did run to the auto parts store and I picked up some fuel line and some hose clamps. So this is 5/16 to the input side of the gas tank, or the main line, and 1/4 inch is the return line. So what I've got here is this little 1/4 inch deal is going to turn around and go back here, which is my hard line for my return line. This piece is going to that fictional main feed line that Morris 4x4 can't seem to get me. And then I'm going to put some on these two vents. One of these is the gas tank vent and the other one goes to the recovery system and the canister. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with those just yet, with that one or one of them. So I'm going to put a piece of hose on it for now. So I've got hose clamped to both ends of it. I think what I'll do is I'll leave me a chunk of this 5/16 stuff to get back in here somewhere, because that's where my hard line will probably wind up. And I'll put a loop in here so I can cut the loop in the middle and have two longer pieces or something. But this stuff's pretty expensive, so I kind of hate to waste it. It's like $6 a foot or something like that, so $6 or $7 a foot. So I'm gonna get this return line finished up, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to do those two, and then I'll look at getting my tubes on here. I might not put these on until the tub gets here, just because I feel like I need to know where to position the output side of this, so may not do too much with those. I did rob the bolts off the top of my shocks up front and put them on the back here, because I haven't found the two other bolts. Those are kind of 3/4 inch bolts with fine threads that go on the end of the shocks. But I thought, again, in the interest of having the stuff under the tub buttoned up, I'd get those shocks in place. So then about the last thing is to get back on brakes, I think, for now. So let's do some of that. I was just watching a guy up there on YouTube that was talking about spring shackle angles and all that kind of stuff, and man, oh man, there's some science to that stuff, and mostly it's affecting ride quality. Obviously these are as unsprung as they can be, or sprung right now because there's no weight on the thing, but it'll be interesting to see what my shackle angles wind up with when I get the tub on here. I really honestly don't know how much the tub weighs. I should probably figure that out, since I'm gonna have to deal with that in a little bit. But I have no idea how these shackle anglers are gonna work out. I mean, I not much I can do, but you know, he was talking about you could change your mount point for your shackle hanger, and I'm not sure how I'd do that without getting crazy, and I'm about had enough crazy here. So I'm just gonna mess around with these lines for a little bit, and then maybe drop this tire off and get back into the brakes for a little bit and look around and see what else I can do to keep things moving. Don't have a ton, so I'll do that stuff, and that'll get me about to the point where I'll have the critical stuff and I'll be ready for the tub. All right, well, drum brakes are kind of not one of my favorite things to do. They're tedious and troublesome, and there's all these parts and springs and pins and all this nonsense, and you got to have a special tool, which I do have. I don't know who had to invent that silly thing, but that's part of what you need to get your little springs on and so forth. And there's cables, and there's things that keep track of the cables, and there's these little self-adjusting doohickeys, and I just never have really been a fan of drum brakes. I think I mentioned I was thinking about doing discs back here, but I did not. So my penance for that is I got to deal with all this tedious nonsense. The problem is there are a couple of pieces that I'm missing. There's a spreader, kind of a bar that goes between the two, and then there's a lever that the parking brake cable hooks to. And I don't know, maybe somewhere out there in the Jeep graveyard on the side of the house I have those parts, but I can't find them. So I'm gonna put an end to this for the weekend. I've ordered those parts. Of course, Quadratec's got them. So I have them coming. They should be here next week. And that really will get me back to the point where I can get these darn back brakes done. But for now, in order to be prepared to get the tub in here, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw the drum back on, put the tire back on, put all these twiddly little parts back in the box for now, and come back to this next week when all my parts get here. So for now, I'm gonna wrap this up and get it in a can. And when you next see us, we should have a tub here. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging with me through this project. I know sometimes it gets a little goofy, but I hope you're learning something or whatever, or this is helping you stay motivated to do your own. If you are, man, give me some love. Throw me a comment down there. You should probably be subscribed to the videos, but you know that, and it does help on YouTube to show up more if you click the like button, so more people can see these things. But for the most part, what I'm looking for is just shoot me a comment, tell me I'm nuts, or tell me that I can get through this, or that you've done the same thing. When I do these breaks, I'm gonna really set the camera up good and, you know, make sure everything's easy to see, because they are tedious and they're not difficult. They're just tedious and they are a little tricky because you gotta kind of hold stuff in place while you get your springs on there and whatnot. But I'll show you that really well, promise. So let's come back when we get to that point, all right? I'll see you next time around. Thanks for watching.